Testing, testing, testing. Welcome everybody to Division 1 Silverstone. Only 2 races left in this league, and we have few drivers today, only 7. It seems that there's a chance that we have 8 drivers. Max Stars is trying to join as we speak, but definitely not the amount of drivers we were expecting for today. The good thing is that almost everybody who is still in contention for the race is here today, so it will be very, very interesting to see how things play out while people are getting ready for their laps and doing their quali. We need to talk about the championship because it's only 2 races left, and we have, mathematically speaking, 5 drivers who have the opportunity to win the championship. And let's go from the least one to the one that has the biggest chance. In 5th place, right now we have God Palmer with 137 points, which in reality this means that he will need to win both races and get the fastest lap in both races and make sure that the leader, Bach of Donuts, doesn't score a single point. Like, this is almost impossible. We will need 2 DNFs in a row from Bach of Donuts. Not only that, we will need God Palmer to win both races and get the fastest lap. It's very complicated to do both. Like, it's very complicated to win 2 races, but also to get the fastest lap. I will say this is nearly impossible for God Palmer. And even with that, he will just tie Bach of Donuts in 1st place. We will still need to see what John, Max, and Ernest do. So this is a bit complicated for God Palmer. In 4th place, we have Ernest, who is trying to get ready for a lap. Ernest is with 139 points, 50 points behind the leader, Bach of Donuts. What he needs is almost the same as God Palmer. He needs 2 wins, at least to tie God Palmer, and a fast lap, at least 1 to win. So we can clearly say that, again, for Ernest, this is also like Mission Impossible, very complicated. We don't think realistically he is in contention for the championship, but mathematically speaking, he has a chance. You know, a few things can happen in the race, a couple of DNFs, Wi-Fi issues, and he might have a chance, but again, his chance is really, really small. I think not even 1% of probability of he winning the championship. In third place, we have Max. And Max has 152 points. He is 37 points behind the leader. But the weird thing here is that Max has been unable to join the session. We don't know if he will be able to join during quali and set a lap. But if he doesn't, that's it. Like, he is out of the championship battle. What would he need if he's able to join? Well, he will need at least a win or to score a lot of points and make sure that, Bag of Donuts and John, who is in second place, don't score that much. But, not being here in the race mathematically just eliminates Max from the battle. So now let's talk about second place and also first place, because these two guys are, I think, the ones that can still win the championship. We have John with 167 points and only 22 points behind Bag of Donuts. And this is the moment when anything can happen, because a DNF from Bag of Donuts today and a win, not only a win, like second or third place from John, and he will be in a very close position to win. Right now, if John wins this race, the championship will be decided on the last race. However, the championship can be decided today if Bag of Donuts finishes the race with 5 points or more from John. I'm not talking about a win, I'm just talking about 5 points of difference. Because if he gets 5 points more than John, that will put him in 27, and then mathematically speaking, it's impossible for anybody else to catch him. So the reality is that Bag of Donuts has a very good opportunity here of winning. He needs only 5 more points than John. Now, John has been driving very good in the last races. So it will be very, very interesting to see if the championship gets decided today. Now, let's talk a little bit about constructors. I haven't paid a lot of attention in the constructor championship. What I can say is that Mercedes is right now leading McLaren, but with only Ernest driving today, I think McLaren has a very good opportunity to just go ahead in the first place. I don't think the championship for constructors will be decided today. We probably might need a 1-2 from the McLaren guys, and even then I think we will still have a gap short enough to still have an opportunity on the next race. So unfortunately, as we say, Max is not here, so Ernest will have to play the game for Mercedes by himself, and that is not something that he will be very happy with, and this puts a lot of opportunity on McLaren. Bag of Donuts has been driving pretty good, and Crit Plus, his teammate, has been at least consistent. Let's see how he has finished on previous races. But yeah, In Baku he finished 4th, in Canada he finished 5th, and in the States he finished 6th. So points at least, which is what McLaren needs. Do we think that the championship, the drivers' championship, will be decided today? I don't know. I don't know, because John has been driving very good, very good. So we will need to see, how exactly this track is for our two main contenders. From what we have seen so far, the current pole position is for Bag of Donuts, which 127. And as soon as I said that, God Palmer gets the fastest lap so far, 127.1. And John finishes his lap in a 127.8. So it will be very, very good to know if John starts in the second row, or if both can start on the first row. I think 127.1 for God Palmer is a very good lap, because both Bag of Donuts and John will need few tenths of a second to get God Palmer. So let's see how everything plays out. Let's try to see if Ernest is trying to set a lap. It might be the case. Let's see if he opens the RS here. Yeah, he opens the RS. He might be on a lap. Yeah, it's very smart. If you know that you are not gonna challenge for pole position, it's very smart to just do your quali on mediums, because we only have 7 drivers in the grid today. Like, it's very, very weird to have this amount of drivers. For a second I thought that the race was gonna be cancelled, but since the main contenders of the championship are here, the drivers and the organization decided to play and to race today. A bit of oversteer on that straight for Ernest, and let's see where he finishes his lap, and if he's able to set 5th place. Mercedes really needs some points today. He goes 4th in mediums. That's good. That's very good. I'm guessing God Palmer, Bag of Donuts, and John will have an extra lap, one last lap, to try to get front row. I think God Palmer with that 127.1 is pretty chill in first place. Let's talk a little bit about the track, because we haven't talked about it. We are racing in Silverstone, the home, actually where everything began, really, the Formula One history. Meanwhile, Bag of Donuts is getting on an outlap, or was that great? I think John, it's starting his lap. Quid Plus also starting his lap. Meanwhile, God Palmer and Bag of Donuts still stay on the garage. I think we have 18 corners. Yeah, we have 18 corners. We have 2 DRS zones. One is between corner 5 and 6. And then from corners 14 and 15, we also have some DRS zones. A lot of opportunities to overtake here. We have, from corner 10, Maggots, all the way to corner 13, Beckett's. We have like a lot of opportunity for mistakes, which some drivers will take advantage on. Let's try to see John's lap, which will be probably the last lap of his quali. He's trying to get the tires ready, and let's see how he does his last attempt to get at least in the front row. Back of Donuts remains in pits for now. Got Palmer also in pits. So John getting ready to start his lap. He's gonna have a lot of clean air, and let's see how he does his lap. Meanwhile, got Palmer and Bag of Donuts out of the pits. They will try their lap as well. John. Let's go on board with John and see how he does the first sector. He goes purple on the first sector. Then he might encounter a bit of traffic from his teammate, so I'm guessing his teammate will just let him go by. There it is, Brady. And then he's gonna go into this set of corners that are a bit tricky. And after Beckett's, he goes purple on the second sector as well, so he might have a very good chance of getting pole in this lap. Goes second place, so the third sector was not his friend. Meanwhile, got Palmer on the first sector, trying to improve. Got Palmer goes fastest on the first sector, probably trying to just cover whatever Bag of Donuts can do. Bag of Donuts behind got Palmer. So let's see what God Palmer can do on the second sector. Meanwhile, we see a problem in front of God Palmer. Thankfully, was not an issue for him. His lap has been invalidated. So let's stay with Bag of Donuts to see if he can improve a little bit and get in the front row. He is 200ths of a second fastest on the second sector. That might not be enough, but let's see the third sector, because that was not the perfect sector for John. So maybe a Bag of Donuts has a better third sector here. And Bag of Donuts finishes and stays in third place. So John will start in the second row. John will start in the first row. Bag of Donuts on the second row, alongside Brady then Crit Plus, Ernest, and last of the grid, Crescent. This is good for championship because this means that the last race will be the one deciding the championship. However, this is just qualifying. We still need to see the race. Any mistakes can happen. Remember, Bag of Donuts only needs 5 points more than John on this race to win the championship. So there it is. Scott Palmer will start in pole position. The miracle that he needs is for Bag of Donuts to have a DNF and maybe from John to don't score points or the least possible points as possible. Meanwhile, John, he needs to have a very good race to kind of get close to Bag of Donuts. And as we say, Bag of Donuts, he just needs 5 more points than John, and that will be enough. Unfortunately, Max was unable to join us, so that means that he is mathematically out of the battle for the championship. So formation lap is on, and I definitely want to see the start of the race to see if John attacks Scott Palmer, and more important, if Bag of Donuts can attack both people in the front row. Ernest has already been disqualified from the formation lap. No problem, that would just reset him to his position. The only problem is that his tires will not be ready for him during the race. Now let's see if the AI actually resets Ernest. There it is. Ernest has been sent back to the grid, which means that the rest of the drivers will not have to wait for him and tires will not be getting cold. I'm excited for this race. Unfortunately, only 7 people driving today. I'm guessing no safety cars, because almost everybody here drives very good. but we will never know. Well, we will know in a few minutes. I'm expecting a good race. I'm hopefully to see a battle between John and Bag of Donuts at some point. And maybe, you know, God Palmer can pray to the gods, to the racing gods, to make sure that there's a DNF on his behalf. So we're getting ready to start. Only 7 people on the grid. This is very weird. There it is. And the race has begun. Good exit from God Palmer, but a better exit from John, who's going to attack. And Bag of Donuts stays behind. And everybody stays on track. And the first movements are happening. Quid Plus and Brady are having an issue, but we need to stay with the people up front. Quid Plus has a problem. Quid Plus had a problem there, and he needs to recover. Not safety car yet. Meanwhile, John is gonna chase God Palmer. There's a possibility that this race becomes a bit boring, just people following each other. And if that happens, I will be very, very sorry for the viewers at home. Bag of Donuts getting close to John. John closing the door. And we need to see what happens here. Bag of Donuts still is gonna try to make the move as soon as possible. Meanwhile, God Palmer is ahead 1 second from John. So God Palmer doing his job while praying to the racing gods. Bag of Donuts trying to attack John, and there goes the move, and he makes a stick, and they stay pretty close to each other. But now Bag of Donuts takes the lead, and second place for him temporarily. Again, he needs 5 more points than John today to win the championship. Meanwhile, let's make sure that we have all the data required. There it is. And we can see that Bag of Donuts has gained 1 place versus John, while Crescent has gained 2 places and Creed Plus has lost 2 places. Bag of Donuts setting, I think, the fastest first sector so far, but it's still John pretty close to him. We will need to see what happens. Brady getting in the mix, and if Brady doesn't play the team game, he might want to have a go at John, and that might be a bit weird, although he was a bit wide on that corner, and that gives John a bit of fresh air or breathe opportunity from his teammate. I don't know if Brady will attack, if he has a chance. It will be very interesting to see what happens here. Meanwhile, God Palmer and Bag of Donuts getting out of the DRS from the people chasing them. So it's Brady, the one that can attack John. We need to see if DRS will be enabled in this lap. There it is. DRS has been enabled. So that means that in the next corner or in the next straight, we will have some DRS action. But John driving and trying to get out, but Brady has DRS and is going to try to get pretty close to John. John does not have DRS from Bag of Donuts. So right now is Brady the one chasing his teammate. And again, we need to see if Brady will play the team game or will say, you know what, I also want points. I also want to prove that I am a very good driver and I will attack my teammate. Brady, 0.6 of a second, 0.7 of a second, getting close, using his battery. So he's chasing John. John now 1.2 seconds from Bag of Donuts. So Brady is gonna try to make the move in this lap or the next one. There it is, in the second DRS zone. Not enough. But again, let's remember that in quali, John didn't have the best third sector. So maybe this is the opportunity to Brady to get really close to John and attack him on the first DRS zone, which is corner number 5. Brady, 0.6 of a second. I think he needs to stay in 0.5 of a second in order to make DRS work in his favor. But it seems that he's attacking his teammates, so this is it. DRS almost ready in the next corner, and there it is. The attack is on, but not enough. He gained only 0.3, maybe 0.2 of a second. That is not enough. Let's see if he can still keep close to his teammate for the second DRS zone and make a move there. But I think the second sector of the track is very good for John, because this is where he is able to just get close to back of Donuts. Now he is at 0.9 of a second. So maybe back of Donuts had a problem at some point, or just John is very good in the second sector. John actually using DRS, trying to get close to back of Donuts. And we have the first penalties for Ernest. And we have a yellow flag somewhere. There it is. Crescent just got out of the track. Now John chasing back of Donuts, and very good. Maybe this is the moment for John to recover second place. Meanwhile, Crescent goes to the pits to change his front wing and his tires. We can see that everybody in the lead, or at least the first positions, started with soft tire. So maybe they are all in the same strategy. We have another yellow flag, and Crescent is out of the race. He had a lot of problems with this track, which means that the field will get back together, will get compact again. Back of Donuts will be able to be closer to God Palmer, but also John will get closer to Brady, and everybody is going to the pits. God Palmer to the pits, Back of Donuts to the pits. Ernest stays out of track. He has left session. It says we got the notification that Ernest just left the session, which means that he might be a ghost. Yeah, so Ernest is a ghost. We don't know if his points will be counted, which means that God Palmer, Back of Donuts, John, Brady, and Crit Plus, everybody went to the pits, and they will be racing a ghost. AI will be controlling the pack. I don't know why Ernest disconnected, but that means that now we only have 5 drivers and 20 laps left. So this is gonna be either very exciting or extremely boring. Let's hope for the first. Let's see, Back of Donuts is still racing, John is still racing, Brady and Crit Plus is still racing. It's only Ernest who has rejoined. Maybe he will be able to take control of his car and resume racing. I hope so, because Mercedes really needs the points today. There is Ernest with the big X showing that he's not racing, but he's back. He is back, and he will be controlling the pace on the restart. So let's talk about points. What will happen if everything stays the way it is, which will not, but just for the sake of discussion and arguments. So if everything stays the way it is, again, it won't happen, but if it does, Bag of Donuts will have 15 points and John will have 12 points, which means that John will have a chance on the next race. Maybe God Palmer is here to spoil the party, because if Bag of Donuts will get first place and John will get second place, that will be enough. That will be enough for Bag of Donuts to win. But if Bag of Donuts doesn't get first place, there needs to be another driver between him and John in order to have those points, 5 or more, and win the championship. So that's what I said. Maybe God Palmer is here to spoil the party, because I really can see God Palmer in first, Bag of Donuts in second, and John in third. I also can see John in second and Bag of Donuts in third. It will be very, very good to see what does Brady does in the restart, because we saw on few laps ago that he wants to have a chance to attack his teammates, and maybe Brady also has something to say in this championship. Safety car is still, actually safety car in this lap, thank you very much. And Ernest, who is back racing, will be controlling the field and will be in charge of the restart. Meanwhile, let's see what tires they have gone with. Everybody chose the medium tire, and yeah, maybe that's the tire to finish the race. So almost everybody in the same strategy, and there it is, the restart. Ernest, God Palmer gets out of Ernest, and Ernest is able to defend a little bit. Meanwhile, Bag of Donuts in front of John and chasing. There is the small battle between John and Bag of Donuts, and John gets ahead of Bag of Donuts. So a very good restart from John, and also a good restart from God Palmer. Bag of Donuts, he needs to stay close to them, and now Brady can attack Bag of Donuts and actually play the team car. God Palmer, he's trying to overtake Ernest and just get on with his race. There it is, trying to make a move. I think he's gonna make it right now. Ernest using all the track to defend. Let's go on board with God Palmer. Also John pretty behind God Palmer, so if there's a mistake here, John will take advantage of that. Ernest defending pretty good. He wants to give Mercedes the points, and I thought I was gonna see a dive there, but God Palmer decides to just follow Ernest to the next part of the track. Another lap starts. Ernest, I think, just disconnected, which means the AI is in control. That gives a lot of opportunity to God Palmer and John to overtake the AI of Ernest. Ernest back on the track. So I think Ernest is having a lot of internet problems, and hopefully that won't be an issue for God Palmer or John, because sometimes you crash because you are completely unaware. There goes John trying to make a move into God Palmer, and let's see if he's able to finish that. They are pretty close to each other. They keep it very clean, and finally John gets ahead of God Palmer, and now is John the one that might be in control of the race. Bag of Donuts in third place. This just will make sure that the championship will be decided on the last race. John attacking Ernest. I think John really wants to attack Ernest and create a gap as big as possible, especially if Ernest is having a lot of issues with his internet connection. Meanwhile, God Palmer also chasing, trying to recover the position. DRS is enabled in this lap. We might see some movement. Right now, everybody is close to each other, which means that accidents can happen. And there goes God Palmer from around the outside, and now takes the inside on the next corner and gives enough space to John, who is using all his ERS possible, and also both have DRS. They are close to each other. Who's gonna finish on top on this part? And it seems that God Palmer might have the upper hand. No, John has the upper hand. Two corners, he's able to take the inside and lives to fight another day. God Palmer trying again, staying pretty close, but now he's gonna try to go around the outside, and now he stays behind. We have somewhere with a problem, maybe it's Ernest, sorry, Crit Plus, and yeah, we have a problem somewhere, and it's Crit Plus, the one having an issue. God Palmer chasing John, and the big benefactor here is Bag of Donuts, and there goes God Palmer ahead of John. I think they just touch, and John is gonna try to dive. Very bad camera, this one. And John trying to attack. There it is. Oh, they just touch, and actually both exit the track. Bag of Donuts chasing pretty close to pick the scraps if needed. God Palmer ended up in front of John after that small incident, but John is gonna try to get DRS. God Palmer doesn't have DRS from Ernest, which means that both John and Bag of Donuts can get pretty close. Meanwhile, Ernest driving his own race. John is staying pretty close to Bag of Donuts. In the middle is a sandwich between God Palmer and Bag of Donuts. John might want to try to make a move. For now, he's just following. Let's see in the next DRS zone if he's able to attack God Palmer. Again, it seems that God Palmer is here to spoil the party between John and Bag of Donuts. And let's hope the race keeps being good. Now, God Palmer pretty close to Ernest. So now everybody will have DRS. We have a DRS train so far. John trying to get into God Palmer. Has a good exit. He might be very close. He's gonna try to make the attack. No, he backs out and says not this time. Bag of Donuts falling a little bit. He needs to stay close to John and God Palmer if he wants to take the pieces. There it is. He doesn't have, no, there it is. There is DRS, but he's just gonna be able to get close because God Palmer also has DRS from Ernest. So right now Ernest is helping God Palmer without wanting to give him a bit of DRS. Meanwhile, John chasing and Back of Donuts also chasing, Brady chasing Back of Donuts. We have a small train, really. Who is gonna be the first one to break the train? God Palmer. He might have an opportunity in the next DRS zone, getting close to it. Let's see if he has a good exit in the corner. He does. He is gonna attack. This is the moment. This is the moment. He goes. I thought he was gonna go from the inside, but no, he goes from the outside. And Ernest is gonna defend. They stay pretty close, but God Palmer is able to make the move and get into the racing line, which means that Ernest will now have to concede the position. John also gets Ernest, and now Back of Donuts needs to get Ernest pretty fast, or he will be in trouble. Ernest, he will try to come back and attack John. This might get a little bit spicy. Now everybody is still on that DRS train. Not a very good exit from Ernest. I think his tires might be struggling a little bit. And now Back of Donuts, he needs to take advantage of this opportunity. If not, he will struggle at the end of the race. Back of Donuts getting pretty close to Ernest. Let's see if he's able to make a move in the next DRS zone, although we will have another train. So he needs to have a better exit in the corner compared to Ernest in order to make a move, but he needs to make the move right now. Otherwise, God Palmer and John will start to create a gap, and we see the gap starting to form because Ernest is now 0.8 of a second ahead. And again, we have Ernest in AI, so let's hope that this doesn't destroy anybody's race. Back of Donuts is able to, no, there goes Ernest in front, and this is gonna be a pain for Back of Donuts, because if he is experiencing the same, he will think that he overtook Ernest. And there goes Brady in front of Back of Donuts out of nowhere. And I think all of this was related to Ernest not being on the track. So this is unfortunate, and Back of Donuts now in 5th place. Yeah, this is not very good for the chase, and Brady is able to fight Ernest, but Ernest, I think, this is very weird because I don't know if Ernest is playing or not. We can see that Brady is somehow close to Ernest, but Ernest is a bit far, so even the telemetry is wrong. So we are unable to see the reality of Ernest's position. Meanwhile, John gets a 3-second penalty, and this is going to be interesting. He's going to attack God Palmer. He needs to, because now he needs to create a 3-second gap from anybody else. And he's going to make the move, and he actually finishes the move. Terrible camera, this one. Let's go with God Palmer. And John has been able to take first place. Meanwhile, Ernest chasing. I really don't know if it's Ernest or just the AI doing his bit. Brady 1.6 seconds behind Ernest, but again, I think this was because the connection from Ernest was very bad, and I think both Brady and Back of Donuts got a bit of problem there. So now John trying to get far from God Palmer, and God Palmer, he needs to stay close. He needs to make an attack and maybe get that first place if possible. Right now the big winner for the championship might be John. 15 laps have been passed, and we start to see a potential finish, which is unfortunate for Back of Donuts, but it's very good for John. There goes God Palmer. He's gonna make the move. John defends a little bit, but also I think God Palmer backed out a little bit, and he's gonna make a move on the next opportunity that he has. Let's remember that John might not have the best of sectors in Sector 3, so God Palmer might be able to take advantage of that. Also, we need to see that Ernest, he needs to pit at some point, because he has not pitted yet, and we have a yellow flag somewhere. Brady just had an accident. We might be able to see here what happened with Brady, and we might see him. We just passed him and we were unable to see Brady. That puts Bag of Donuts in 4th place, and Ernest, who really needs to pit at some point, in 3rd place. Let's go to, and we have a full safety car, which means that Ernest, he should go into the pits. And actually, maybe everybody goes into the pits. Let's see what happens here. Tire. We have 9 laps all for few people, and a brand new set of softs might give the advantage to some of the drivers. John, let's see what John does. Then God Palmer, then Ernest, Bag of Donuts, and Creed Plus. Ernest, he really needs to go into the pits, and the other 4, we will see what happens. And John goes into the pits, God Palmer also into the pits, Ernest into the pits, Bag of Donuts into the pits, and Creed Plus, we will see, because he's a bit far from the other drivers. So this might be the last safety car of the race, considering that we only have 5 drivers only. And the good thing is that we will not have a double stack with Creed Plus and Bag of Donuts, because how far they were from each other. Everybody goes to the soft tire. Creed Plus also will go to the soft tire. So we will have a 9-8 laps shootout with God Palmer. Now, the interesting thing is that John and Ernest, they have penalties. This was a very good safety car from Ernest, because he, if he didn't have a safety car, he would have pitted and end up probably in 4th or 5th place. So he gets a very cheap stop and the opportunity to stay in 3rd place. Bag of Donuts, with a brand new set of softs, will have a challenge for sure. Let's see. Yeah, Ernest only 1 stop. But here's the interesting thing. Both John and Ernest, they have a 3-second penalty. So anything can happen, because if Bag of Donuts finished 2nd, Ernest in 3rd by some reason, and John in 4th, we will have a champion. So let's wait and see how things progress. And if there are any more penalties for drivers to collect. Everybody's staying pretty close to each other. Let's hope that they don't have an issue there. Obviously we don't have team radio here, but it will be very interesting to see if by any chance Creed Plus stays out, just for the lows, and he will try to defend against God Palmer or John and give Bag of Donuts the opportunity to go in the attack. That would have been pretty interesting, although this track doesn't allow that really, because this is a proper racing track, so it's not like you can park the car somewhere and back other drivers, back them up. but it would have been a very interesting thing to see, for sure. So I'm guessing this will be the last lap with safety car, which means that we will have 7 laps to race. Everybody trying to get the tires ready. Got Palmer knowing that he doesn't have a chance in the championship, but he still wants the points. He still wants to win this race. And as we said last week, it's very unfortunate because God Palmer should have been in the battle for the championship, but he had to miss a couple of races because some IRL commitments. If not, he will be definitely a main contender in the championship. John, I don't know if John start the full race, the full season with us. Let's really see really quick. Yeah, John had a couple of DNFs during the season, but very consistent, especially at the end. So in Saudi Arabia he had 8th place, then in Brazil he had 7, then few DNFs, but nothing less than a 4th place. So pretty good for him. Meanwhile, Bag of Donuts, he has just missed 1 in Baku and a DNF in Monza. Do we have safety car in this lap? Yeah, we do. So let's see how the restart is. And there we go. And John is gonna attack God Palmer, and using all the opportunity that he has, he gets out of the track. I think John wants to make the move right now. And did they touch? I don't think so. But I think God Palmer will defend with his life the first place. John trying to stay pretty close, and he's gonna try to make a move at any time. Meanwhile, Ernest already 1.5 seconds behind. That is not good for him nor Bag of Donuts. And John is gonna try to make the move into God Palmer. Bag of Donuts, he needs to clean Ernest as soon as possible, or not even the 3-second penalty from John will help him. I think John is driving a little bit aggressive. He really wants that first place. He really wants the points. He really wants a very good opportunity next race for the championship. And if he's able to control the car and keep it in track, he might have a chance against God Palmer. God Palmer defending, using more ERS than his opponent. There it is, trying to defend as much as possible. John just following for now, and Bag of Donuts falling a bit behind. So John is gonna try to make the move. Meanwhile, Bag of Donuts just fall too much from Ernest, trying to recover, but we might see a battle for first place and a battle for third place. Crit Plus also following his teammates. And I think for now they are just gonna follow each other until we get DRS enabled once again. Bag of Donuts chasing Ernest and John chasing God Palmer. Crit Plus might be also chasing Bag of Donuts, although I think he just wants to stay close to his teammate in case something weird happens. Yeah, DRS has been enabled in this lap, which means that John will have a chance to attack God Palmer and staying very, very close. We're gonna see the move in the next corner using ERS, now using DRS. He's gonna attack God Palmer. God Palmer defending, no, not defending, so God Palmer didn't use ERS to block God Palmer, maybe because, sorry, John. And there it is again, John goes and he's gonna try to make the move, but God Palmer closes the door on this occasion once again. This might be very frustrating for John. There is again, John makes the move, and we need to see a better, there it is. So the camera didn't help, but John has been able to get ahead of God Palmer. Now God Palmer has DRS. John trying to break the toe. And there is the move again, and they stay pretty close to each other. And John stays in the inside, then takes the outside, and is able to survive the battle for first place. Back of Donuts has been able to finally attack and win Ernest, although Ernest is very, very close to him. Back of Donuts, he needs to get as far as possible from Ernest and chasing that 3-second penalty from John. And if that happens, oh my god, because that will mean that there's a sandwich between John and Back of Donuts, and that piece of meat will be called God Palmer, and that will be what Back of Donuts needs. Back of Donuts, he needs to focus, keep your head down and just drive, stay within that 3-second penalty, and something might be able to happen. Actually, for that we will need God Palmer to get a 3-second penalty, so forget what I said. I got a bit excited there, but still, with Quit Plus having no penalties, he might be able to do something to help his teammates. But all of them, both Back of Donuts and Quit Plus, they need to pick the pace. And there's Ernest again, overtaking Back of Donuts, which will not be very good for Back. I'm not sure how that happened. Which means that we have again Back of Donuts in 4th place. John now trying to get as far as possible from the rest of the pack, but while God Palmer is within a second, he will have DRS and he will be able to get close to his opponent. There is using DRS. For now, he's gonna try to get close to John. He realizes that this straight is not enough and will try to attack Back of Donuts. I think he missed the opportunity after overtaking Ernest, and now he might have to pay the price for that. Also, I don't think God Palmer will have a 3-second penalty because he is very good in order to keep the car on track. Meanwhile, Ernest now is 2.7 seconds. But there's another movement there. Back of Donuts and Ernest, they are fighting for position. Back of Donuts, now he has a 3-second penalty. We were unable to see if he was pushed or not, but that means that now God Palmer will be able to win the race. And now I think for Back of Donuts, it's just damage limitations and try to get that 3rd place. John gets another 3-second penalty. This is crazy because John now has 6-second penalty, which means that anything can happen. That means that Ernest, he needs to get pretty close to God Palmer, and Bag of Donuts, he really needs to clean Ernest if he wants to get a better position than John. I don't think that might be enough. I don't know if Ernest is driving slow on purpose, but he's losing a lot of time, and Bag of Donuts has been unable to attack and overtake him. God Palmer, he wants to win on track, and he's trying to get close to it. In this DRS zone, no, but maybe at the end of the lap he might fancy a dive. John recharging battery, and do we see a dive? No, we don't. God Palmer just stays close to John. Bag of Donuts now falling 1 seconds behind Ernest. Not very good for him. John has a bit of problem with the car, and now this is the opportunity for God Palmer to overtake. Not the best exit and not the best entry on the corner for John, and now God Palmer is gonna attack. I think John can't do anything and just will try to stay close and attack on the next DRS zone. God Palmer on a chase trying to win. He wants to say, I might not be a contender yet, I might not be a contender now, but I am one of the fastest drivers on this league. John trying to win on track. And he's gonna use DRS, ERS, everything to go, and he makes the move. I think he makes the move. He gives a lot of space to John, but not to God Palmer, but that might not be needed because he was ahead. So he reclaims the first position on track. But remember, he has a 6-second penalty. I need a glass of water. But this is getting intense. God Palmer in the last lap is gonna try to attack, but that with those penalties, this means that God Palmer will be in first place. Then I think Ernest in second place, then John, and then Bag of Donuts, if I am not mistaken with my quick math. There is God Palmer. Is he gonna try to make one last move, or decided to win because of the penalties? Bag of Donuts, damage limitations for him. He will not enjoy that John will be ahead of him on this race, but still the difference will not be that much, which means that this is not that bad for Bag of Donuts. And there goes John. Last DRS zone. Now God Palmer, also a 3-second penalty. Now he needs to win on track. And we need to see what happens here, because now God Palmer will win definitely for sure. And Creed Plus, who has no penalties, might be in the middle of some drivers. So there goes God Palmer, gets a checker flag. John also gets a checker flag. Bag of Donuts in... Oh, what happened there? I think Bag of Donuts ended in 4th because Creed Plus got second place. So we need to see after penalties what happened. Very good from Creed Plus. And we need to start making numbers. I don't think the championship was decided today, but let's see and find out. There we go. No, John stayed ahead of Bag of Donuts, which means that John has 3rd place, 15 points, and Bag of Donuts in 4th place has 12 points. This only means that John was able to gain 3 points, so Bag of Donuts will remain 19 points ahead for the last race. Damage limitations for Bag of Donuts. Very good race for John, but the penalties didn't help, and God Palmer won the second race in a row for him. So that's very good for God Palmer. And again, a lot of missed races for him. Otherwise, I think he will be the leader of the championship. Was a good race, although we only had 7 drivers, and at some point we only had 5. Amazing from Crit Plus, no penalties, get him a second place. Thank you to everybody. GG, goodbye.